Powder foundation is not meant to be a setting powder. Hello my friends, if you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about products that I used to absolutely love, but that I don't use anymore. These are products that used to be my holy grails, my go-tos, my couldn't possibly imagine, contemplating, considering life without, and yet here they are, rejected, forgotten, well accompanied, but forgotten in my makeup bin. Now, a number of these products I still have because I'm a compulsive makeup hoarder and I couldn't possibly imagine throwing anything out. And others I actually don't have, and honestly, I haven't had them in quite a while. So for the products I don't have, I will be inserting a little image of them so that way you can see them. But for some of them, I do have them here. And I also want to talk a little bit about some of the products that I have replaced them for. So let's get started. So I've got this tray with my makeup. So I'm gonna start by just putting a little bit of a disclaimer that just because I don't use these products anymore doesn't mean that they're bad products, and doesn't mean that if you love them that you shouldn't be using them. I think honestly, if I were to boil a good like 98% of these products down to why I don't use them anymore, it's honestly just my makeup tastes have changed. I used to prefer darker, harsher, more contour, brighter, bolder, and now I'm just like, is that a soft glam with a warm neutral? Is that pink lip gloss? Coral? Nude? Coral's a little out there, but you know, really I think I've really sort of my makeup style, and maybe this is also partly the trend, but for me, like, my makeup style has really just embraced soft glam and embraced pretty wearable neutrals. And I've always been pretty wearable, I think, on my channel, but I've really just embraced pretty soft glowing neutrals. So let's dig into this. So the first two products on that beautiful glowing neutrals that I want to talk about, wow, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. Now, a couple years ago, this was like it on Instagram. Like, it was everywhere. Like, look at the damage I did to that palette. Look at that pan. I don't know if you can see it. Like, I used to like scratch this up to make a setting powder. It's like pilled on the highlighter. And what was really cool about this plastic compact is you could actually like pop out the shades. So that way, if you ran out of, say, this color, which was a go-to for me, you could just replace it and pop that in. So anyways, I just haven't been wearing this really, gosh, in a very long time. And the other one, now I do have this as a single highlighter, but I wanted to show it in the palette. And this is the Jaclyn Hill Color Pop. The Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop Collect. And specifically, really, it's just Champagne Pop, which is right here. This one's Prosecco Pop. I didn't wear it as much. And then I also had this as a cream highlighter, and I had two of it as its individual highlighter. So it's just beautiful champagne bold highlight. And there's no real reason that I stopped using it, but I did replace it with the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette. So I use this bronzer here that I'm wearing today as sort of a contouring, sculpting bronzer, not a contour, more of a sculpting bronzer. And then I use this highlight that I've hit pan on. This is actually my second version, like my second one of this. Like, I used up an entire one and then I bought another. And this color is just very similar to Champagne Pop to me, but it's just a lot softer and glowier, whereas I feel like Champagne Pop is more of a gleam. And it's just soft and glowy, and it's in one compact, and it's just easy to reach for, and it's beautiful, and it's by Charlotte Tilbury, and I love it. And so I just really found that a lot of the products I was using to contour and highlight have really just been replaced by this. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about setting powders. And I think you should forgive me as I begin this conversation. So I used to think, why would you use a translucent setting powder when you could use powder foundation? So this is the Halo Hydrating Perfecting Powder by Smashbox. And it was really cool because all you had to do was like twist it a little bit, and it would sort of shave product out of there. And I can't even count how many of these I went through. See, what I would do is I would cover my face in Smashbox's BB cream, and then to set it so that it didn't go slipping everywhere, I would then set it with powder foundation. Can we just take a minute? And I did that like in high school when my skin was already perfect. And so people would always be like, oh my gosh, your skin is so perfect. And I'd be like, thanks. And I didn't want to tell them that it was BB cream plus a mountain of powder foundation. Like how I didn't look like a cakey mess, I will never know. Now there was a time when I actually upgraded that Smashbox powder to a Chanel powder foundation. But guys, powder foundation is not meant to be a setting powder. Let me repeat that. Powder foundation is not a setting powder. But I, of course, didn't know that. Now, one product, basically what I replaced my setting with powder foundation products with, I replaced it and I switched to the Hourglass Ambient lighting powders. Now I do have a full-size mood light and a full-size dim light, and then this is a little custom palette that I made at that beautiful place that I made at Hourglass's store in Abbot Kinney, I think it is, in Los Angeles. And so I just like these because they're just like a light, soft, pretty, diffused, glowing, and like I don't need to set my foundation with foundation. I set it with this beautiful ambient lighting palette. And I don't really do a hardcore setting of my foundation because like I just don't really need to in my day-to-day life, but I do like to just give it a little bit of and to me this is just perfect. Now let's talk about eyeshadow primer. So there was a time when I used like Urban Decay or Too Faced or whatever, like primer, but then I was introduced to the love and joy that is MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. See how much of that I used up? Look at that. And again, I can't even count how many of these I went through. And I know a lot of people use soft ochre. That was very popular on YouTube for a while, but I just found Painterly was better for me. It was like such a holy grail. I would just put it on my lids and I was like, who are you? And I just loved it. But then I don't know how, there came a point when I just felt like it was feeling very heavy on me. And that was about the same time that Benefit reintroduced their Boing Airbrush concealer. And I've gone through probably about 4 of these. And what I do is I put a little bit under my eye when I'm doing my makeup, and then I tap the rest of it just on my eyelids, and it just makes everything even. I don't have any trouble with my eyeshadow like slipping off or moving around or wearing throughout the day. And yeah, so I have replaced MAC's Paint Pot and Painterly with Benefit Boing. Now on that same path of kind of cream eyeshadows, I of course used MAC Paint Pot Painterly as a cream eyeshadow for a while, and then there was also quite a while where I was using these Makeup Forever Aqua XLs, and I've had a number of them, like a coppery one. This is more of like an oystery, pearly, kind of mauvey pinky shade. That's a lot of descriptions. Pinky shade. But then I was introduced, my girl Charlotte, guys. Charlotte really just, she knows what I need. And I was introduced to Jean, which is in one of her Eyes to Mesmerize right here. And this is just the most beautiful wash of soft gold. I just dip my finger in it, I tap it all over my lid, I blend it out to my brow, and honestly I'm good to go just like that. But sometimes I'll also put a little bit of this bronzer right here in my crease, and I'm just like, this is beautiful. It's soft, it's glowy. I do also have a rose gold and a sort of oyster one of these. I have Marie Antoinette and Pillow Talk, or whatever the pinky Pillow Talk one's called, and they are again quite nice, but these are definitely my go-to for cream shadows. Now we're going to talk about one that I thought was just never remotely in the realm of possible. And so I started off deeply loyal to Stila's, whatever it's called, Stila's liquid eyeliner pen. Nothing could be better. And then there was a day when I just realized it was starting to look a little gray and faded, and it just wasn't working for me anymore. And that's when I switched to Kat Von D. And like Kat Von D, like you couldn't rip that thing from my cold dead hands. Like it was life. I wore it all the time, everywhere, all the time. Did I say everywhere and all the time? Everywhere, all the time. Like there was no Alana without winged liner. And I mean, I don't always wear winged liner now, like today. Look how far I've come. But when I do wear winged liner, which is still often, it's all about my boy Tom. This Tom Ford eyeliner costs basically a mortgage payment. No, it's about $80 Canadian, I think. It's really expensive and I hate buying it, but I love it so much. It's double-ended. I never use, so this end down here is like the small end. I never use the small end. I always use the longer end, and it stays put. It's so silky and black and dark and smooth and perfect, and I just don't know how I used anything else ever in my life. So next up, let's talk about eyeshadow. So my original holy grail for eyeshadow were any of these little trios by Smashbox, including especially this blue one. That was life. And then I was introduced to the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. Now this is the, we're gonna call it the medium version. So they used to come in these like cardboard packages, and I had the cardboard one, and then they upgraded the packaging to be these metal tins, and then they've upgraded them again to be a little bit more like this, almost like an acrylic. But I upgraded into this world, and these neutrals were really good. Like Honey Pot never let me down. They did have another color that was like more of a sparkly. They updated what was in here. Silk Teddy, Nudie, like these were colors that I was wearing everywhere all the time. Like I just love these so much. But now, honestly, again, I wear this as my eyeshadow a fair bit, but I also just switch it up. Like I still really keep in that neutral world, but like I've got some great ColourPop palettes. I've got Urban Decay. I've got Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. Like if anything, Chocolate Bar sort of replaced this for me. But I had just a whole bunch, just a whole massive bunch. And I do switch it up a bit, but it's always really the same kind of shimmery gold, shimmery neutral, matte brown, and we're good. Yeah, so that was kind of those, and let's move on to the next one. So going back to complexion on top of setting my foundation with foundation, I want to briefly touch on primer. I used to wear Too Faced Primed and Poreless Primer all the time, you know, because at 17 my pores just really needed to be smaller. I wish I could just go back and tell myself, like, you don't need that. Anyways, as you can see, like I don't have problem skin, so I don't know why I spent all this time and money on products that fix problem skin when like I didn't have problem skin. Like my skin has always been really great, and I just haven't always been really great to my skin. But it's okay, I've come so far. So quickly on foundation or primer, I'm holding the foundations I'm going to talk about. On the primer front, I used to use Too Faced Primed and Poreless all the time. And now for my primers, I do switch up a fair bit. I've been using this one by Jaclyn a lot lately, but it's just because it was there. I don't even know how I got it. I didn't buy it though, and it wasn't sent from PR. It might have been at an event. But like I've got, you know, the Too Faced, there's like a coconut hydrating one. I've got like the Smashbox hydrating one. But really, I'm just looking for products that are just hydrating and smoothing. But I don't need that. I don't need, and I never needed that intensity, but I don't seek out that intensity anymore. So I talked a little bit about using the Smashbox BB cream a fair bit, and I did really love that. But there was also a very long phase where I truly felt that my complexion was so unique and so special and so hard to match that only Dior could do this for me. And so I wore Dior Dior Skin Nude in shade 010 all the time, like in high school and in university. And like, what high schooler needs to wear Dior? But you know, I used to wear this all the time, and I just felt, you know, I know that there are so many people out there who have a much harder time finding foundation than I ever will. And you know, obviously I'm pleased to see brands like, I know Estee Lauder just relaunched their, what's it called? Double Wear. I'm wearing it right now. Just relaunched Double Wear with an expanded shade range, and that's fantastic. The problem I've always had with it was either finding foundation that was pale enough for me, but that didn't pull yellow. I have, I think, a neutral to cool, like neutral, cool, neutral undertone, definitely not warm, and so many foundations were pulling yellow on me, but not this one. This one was like happiness and joy. It had SPF 15. It was just such a good foundation. Now, what I'd say I reach for, I've got kind of two kinds of foundations. I call them my filming foundations, which are, if I'm going to be filming a video, you just want to look your best. So today I am wearing Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is quite popular. But another one I wear a lot is Makeup Forever's HD foundation. It's just good. You know, it's just solid. But in terms of everyday, when I'm like going to work, or once upon a time when I used this a bit when I went to school, I guess, but mostly like when I'm going to work and I just want like an easy wearable look, it is all about the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. This product and it is just true love. I've probably gone through 3 of them, and I can't even count how many I've recommended to friends. But like, my friends know that like this is the shit. And I feel like I'm paying past Alana back, because once upon a time I used to cake high school Alana's face with so much makeup, and it didn't do anything to help me. I mean, thankfully, I don't know, my skin was resilient. I don't know how I survived, but this product is fantastic because it's full of skincare ingredients, and IT Cosmetics is kind of, it's like a skincare company first and a makeup company second. And when I put this on, like at the end of the day when I take it off, I'm just like, how is my skin this amazing? Like while I'm wearing it, it literally makes my skin better, which is just absolutely incredible. Finally, we're just gonna talk briefly about tools. Once upon a time in the not so distant past, I was a beauty blender girl. I still have a bunch of beauty blenders. I just happened to grab this Real Techniques one, but it gets the point across. And I would only use that to apply my foundation. There was no possible way that you could conceivably apply foundation any better than using a damp sponge. And I was like, boop, 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 and it would look great. And these sponges still, I think, have a big role to play. But when I'm doing my makeup every day, and part of it is this CC cream just doesn't play well with sponges. And so I actually I reach for my Tarte Bamboo foundation brush, and I just like, buff it all in. 2 other brushes I use if this one's like dirty, or if I happen to have my hand closer, is this Urban Decay optical blurring brush. And if you're looking for something more budget minded, just this foundation brush by Real Techniques. And I still do use beauty blenders and sponges, and the Real Technique ones, but I honestly use a brush for the most part. And once I actually learned how to use a brush to apply foundation, I realized that like it is just so much better. So anyways, those are the products that I used to love and I just don't reach for or use anymore, and some of the products I've replaced them with. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear down in the comments below what products you used to love, what you've replaced them with. And isn't it just kind of crazy how your makeup tastes can change, both in the kind of makeup you're looking for and the kind of things that you value in products. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.